Welcome back, dear viewers, to our extraordinary episode of today as we embarked on this collaborative endeavor guided by the Women's Cultural and Social Society members and the investigative rigor of Hajar al-Mhanna. We unraveled the women's role in Kuwait's electoral landscape through critical inquiry, and we gained an invaluable insight that not only deepen our understanding but also inform future strategies for fostering democratic engagement and social empowerment. Our dear guest, an attorney participating before Kuwaiti courts for the last 5 years, being institutionally involved in Kuwaiti politics via membership with the Kuwaiti Democratic Forum, the oldest partisan political group organization in Kuwait, being a member of KDF's General-Secretariat since 2019 and heading its legal department, participated in several symposiums and political movements. Welcome with us, Ali Boshehri, attorney, member of Kuwait Democratic Forum. Hello and welcome, Mr. Ali.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. As you know, today is a special day for Kuwait. It's a National Assembly election. Let's talk about the democracy we have. Let's talk about and if you can elaborate about our democracy and to tell about citizens and non-citizens equally.
Okay. So I believe our democracy is enshrined in our constitution, the bedrock of our society here in Kuwait. And our constitution contains a number of provisions that secure and safeguard the rights of citizens, Kuwaitis and non-Kuwaitis alike, as well as divides and separates the powers that are present within Kuwaiti government. And so our system of governance is that we have an executive branch chosen by the Emir. We have a National Assembly chosen by the people via fair and neutral elections. And we have a judiciary also with certain choice considerations. In terms of the role of non-Kuwaitis as well within the Kuwaiti constitution is that the list of rights that are present in the provisions of the constitution and to some extent apply to non-Kuwaitis. For example, the right of religion, the right against searches and arrests, the Article 29 of the Constitution, which has a provision that that people are equal and that they cannot be discriminated against in terms of religion, national identity, or nationality, and the like. So we have certain provisions that apply to Kuwaitis and non-Kuwaitis alike, and the Constitution also provides the separation of powers necessary for Kuwait to proceed in its governance.
Yes, but what are the situations where the Constitution can be rectified from the Emir or the National Assembly? Is there a special situation?
Certainly. So the Constitution, since its enactment in the early 60s, was never amended. If you compare the American Constitution, for example, which was enacted in the late 1700s, was amended for maybe 25 or 27 times. I'm not sure exactly the number. So, and many constitutions around the world, through referendums or democratic process, they are amended regularly. Us, for the last 60 years, we haven't experienced an amendment. Although there is a way to amend the constitution via a two-thirds vote in parliament, as well as the ratification or agreement of the Emir, and the process is quite rigorous. And there is a substantive.
It should be actually.
Yes, and in order, because again, the constitution is the bedrock of our society, and it is such an important document. I'll just say as well that any amendment to the constitution will need to be for additional freedoms rather than, for example, any restrictions.
All of these to help us to enjoy the democracy. Now, how would you compare Kuwait's democracy system with the region and even globally? And is there any disadvantages or even challenges to our democratic system?
I think so. Regionally, I think Kuwait is one of the only countries in the region that has a active, participatory, democratic system. We have an actual, real, genuine legislative branch, the Kuwait National Assembly,
Yes.
which is able to actually legislate and supervise the executive branch. And we've seen a lot over the years, a lot of deadlocks based on the National Assembly's exercise of its supervisory powers,
Yes, sure.
and abilities over the executive branch. Now, compared to other countries in the region, we're more democratic. Globally, however, I think Kuwait's democracy as an experience, as well as its current system in the constitution,
Yes.
is not quite as full as other democracies are. Our democracy is limited to the National Assembly, where we cast a vote to elect 50 members of parliament. It does not extend to the executive branch, which is currently chosen by the Emir according to the constitution. In other states in the world, for example, the United States, which we had just mentioned, or even the UK, or even other
Yes.
democratic countries, the executive branch is also part of the democratic system as compared to Kuwait, where it's only the legislative branch.
But the process is complicated as it should be, because this changing of the amendments or laws needs time, and of course this is something not easy. To that, I want to ask you your opinion on our democratic system, because we have a democracy. We need to change. We need to develop. Always.
Certainly.
Yes.
Yes.
This is challenging for us.
Yeah. I think again, regionally, our democracy is it's real, and it is growing with time. The participation of Kuwaitis in today's election is completely different to their participation in the 60s and 70s. Today, Kuwaitis are more aware
Yes.
of their constitutional duties, of their democratic
Is that why we have
powers.
problems?
But again, now the problems may be also a function of Kuwaitis'
But
awareness.
we enjoy the democracy. We enjoy the freedom. So it doesn't matter if we have challenges.
لا,
Eventually
certainly,
we will.
I think okay. يعني you asked me earlier about our democracy in the region. I think one of the great things is that if we're going to compare,
Yes.
we may not have the highest buildings, or the tallest buildings. We may
Yes.
not have the best hospitals or the best schools, but I think what makes us Kuwaiti, what is enshrined in our DNA, is our ability every few years, constitutionally every 4 years, but sometimes every year or
Yes,
so,
of course.
to go ahead and cast a vote
Yes.
and to say to express our opinions freely and without looking behind us
Yes.
for any security services or anything of that sort.
Yes, Mr. Ali, actually that's my next question about every year we are casting our vote, 2022, 2023, and now 2024. To these elections, what lessons can we learn from? Because everything is changing, but still the same. I don't know how we can change the problem. What do you think?
So I think there is a fear that us going into the ballots and casting our votes on a yearly basis is going to discourage voters from exercising the democratic right. It's going to get Kuwaitis to be bored of the current situation, and especially given that there are no improvements to our way of life. I think that is a genuine fear. At the same time, many democratic systems around the world do survive in a place where there are constant and continuous elections. In the
Yes.
UK, for example, there was a time, I believe, in the last decade or so, where there were three or two consecutive elections within a small period of time, and then there was an amendment to the law. So I think number one, in terms of our fear, we should not be discouraged just because we have recurring elections on a year-by-year basis. That's one thing. The second, it's also a chance for us to learn from our mistakes, as you have said, for the voter to really experience and test the candidate that they elected or that they voted for the year before, and see their position and political stances in Parliament, and for them to see whether whether that candidate was a good vote to pitch in or not. And it's يعني so this is the.
But is it the voters' fault?
لا, certainly not. No.
Because let me tell you, the member of parliament, they are changing actually.
To
But
certain percentages,
the
yes.
same, different a little bit.
Yeah, they're changing, and we will get
But
some changes.
the same voting against, and we are not going to this political discussion. But what do you think about? Is this going to hurt the National Assembly, because we need to legislative attorneys? We need someone to give us the laws. We need everything to go easy, because a lot of employment and a lot of problems, they are stopped because of the election. This is not good for our country.
If you think so, or maybe somebody thinks
challenge
so.
Me and tell me
no,
why.
I'll tell you. The country is stopped for a maximum of 2 months, and that's present in the constitution. We only have a 60-day period between a dissolution of parliament and election, and you can bring it even forward. So the government can bring it earlier.
Yes.
So it's that dissolution stuff. Certainly, the changing of a body within the constitution, the National Assembly, on a continuous basis, does not look like the best idea of stability. However, this is also, and I will never say that it is the voters' fault. We have an electoral system right now that is based on one vote that would elect 10 people within a non-proportional electoral circuit, دائرة انتخابية.
Yes.
And in that regard, that voting system is not really as democratic as other voting systems that are present in the world, such as proportional elections. That's one thing. The other thing, the act of dissolving a parliament is reserved for the executive branch, and the reason why we're having many elections is because the executive branch thinks that maybe parliament made a mistake or so, and it is their right to think so under the constitution, or that there is no cooperation between the branches. But then again, this does not adversely affect our democracy that much, and so long as the people, the voters, believe in their right to cast a vote, believe in their democratic process, I think we're going to survive this, and we're going to grow within the next 10, 20, 50 years.
Certainly, Mr. Ali. And looking forward for the 2024 Parliament, let's talk about your expectations about what kind of shifts do you think will happen in terms of the legislative agenda and other dynamics?
I think, first of all, based on my reading of my humble reading of some,
because the election is not finished yet. We don't know the 50.
Certainly. I may be.
Do you have a feeling, expectations?
I don't think it's going to be that much of a change, but I think there will be some change from last time. And because of the recurring elections, we've seen some shifts going on. The agenda that I think is high on candidates' electoral programs is improving Kuwaitis' welfare. Because I think many Kuwaitis over the last decade or so have felt a feeling of stagnancy, and in the face of an inflation that was exasperated by COVID-19. So I think that is a very high priority with the National Assembly. But I think what is going to really define the legislative agenda is the government, the new Prime Minister who's going to, and there is going to be a resignation, and then the new Prime Minister, and what is that new Prime Minister, which we expect to be Dr. Mohammed Sabah Salim, his idea of how we're going to take Kuwait to the next level. I think his idea is going to be based on radical economic changes. That is going to be hopefully to improve, to take Kuwait to the next level compared to its sisters in the region.
This is what we wish for, and I think we will reach what you said. This is the new color, the new change, of course.
Let's hope.
Thank you. Attorney Ali Boshehri, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. That was Ali Boshehri, attorney of law and member of Kuwait Democratic Forum Secretariat. Now, dear viewers,